Where's your marshmallows, Charles?
I don't need marshmallows, Dave.
What do you mean? What are you doing?
I'm trying to measure my carbon.
Measure your carbon?
I heard you need to combust it.
Yeah, that's true. That's the way they measure soil carbon, is they combust the soil and measure it. But I think you're going to have to do a more accurate job than that if you want to get paid for it, mate. If you're interested in managing your soil health or going into a soil carbon project, then you're going to have to measure your soil carbon. It's really important that you do that on a periodic basis. Soil carbon's been measured for many decades, for over 100 years, and there's been different ways and methods developed to monitor how much carbon is in topsoils. The two main methods used for measuring soil carbon these days in Australia is the Walkley-Black method, or WB method, and the LECO combustion method. The LECO combustion method is the more modern of the two, and it's the one that's currently used for soil carbon projects. So if you're going to measure the soil carbon on your place, it's a pretty simple process, but there's a few steps to follow. The first step is to identify the key monitoring places on your place where you're going to take your soil samples from. The second step is to take some soil samples with a soil corer, which allows you to pull soils out from different depths, and you have to be clear which depth you want to sample your soil carbon to. The third step is to send that soil sample off to the lab, and the lab will use a modern way of assessing your soil carbon, and they will then send you the results as a soil test. You can then keep an eye on your soil carbon from your soil test results. It's important to remember when you're measuring soil carbon that the amount of carbon on your soil test is an equilibrium number. It's a balance between how much organic carbon is coming into your soil through photosynthesis and plant growth, and how much is being lost through respiration. And your management, how you manage your property, as well as the type of soil texture you have, are two big influences on the amount of carbon that you will end up with in your soil. And a final thing to remember is that the carbon number will go up and down a little bit through time. This is natural, as soil carbon is part of the biological cycles of your soil. So the carbon number on your soil test hopefully goes upwards through time, but it will go up and down a little bit through that period. If you're thinking about measuring your soil carbon because you're interested in keeping an eye on it for your place, then it's a good idea to either get in touch with your local land care group or your agronomist, or if you're interested in a soil carbon project, then contact a few of the carbon companies and shop around to see what services they can provide.